Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle here. It's a day earlier than expected, but I decided to go ahead and do the wrestling Q&A first, and so I'm going to answer all the wrestling questions in the order that I received them. So more than likely, all the questions I got within the past 3 days, I'm going to cut this up into three parts. So this is part one of the wrestling Q&A. So the first set of questions come from the Knowles Fan 10, and you ask me, who is my favorite diva and WWE diva and TNA knockout? Currently, right now, favorite divas in this order: AJ, Eve, Kelly, favorite knockout, Mickie James. Do you think Austin Aries is the CM Punk of TNA? Yes, I do. How long do you want Kevin Steen to hold the ROH World Title? Then who do you want Kevin Steen to drop the title to next? Well, the first part of that question, I could see Kevin Steen being world champion for at least until like sometime next year, like around this time next year, like March, April, July. Most ROH world champions, for the most part, I would say probably in the last 4 or 5 years, have had that 8 to 10 month reign. So I can see him having the belt for like at least 8 to 10 months, almost a year, kind of like Richards. Who does team dropping the title to next? Honestly, I really just don't know, because the roster right now is so lacking. Probably your only two potential stars that Ring of Honor trying to break into main eventers are Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. And I could possibly see Adam Cole sometime next year becoming the world champion, and probably he's the only person I can see right now taking the belt after Sting. So Adam Cole would be my next pick as ROH World Champion. Which two guys in WWE and TNA would you want to put in a tag team? Very good question, but also you got a hard one, because it's like TNA, can't really think of anything because everybody's in solo right now. WWE, that's a bit picky because their tag team is just dead. But I will say one tag team I see a bright future for, and I hope they put them on as soon as possible, and that is the Ascension. I love the Ascension. They had a great gimmick in FCW. They're now putting them on the new NXT. They kind of look like like Undertaker's like demon spot children. That's what they kind of have, like that dark character and feel. Kind of reminds me of Undertaker a little bit. So the Ascension, which is already a tag team, I will put up in the WWE. Anybody currently right now in WWE, I can't really think of anybody right now who I would put together as a tag team, because the roster is just so. I would definitely put Tyson Kidd with a tag team partner. I think he needs to, be up there. And then your last question for me: how are you liking the first episode of NXT season 6? I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good season. I haven't seen any NXT season since the first one. So, and partially I've seen the Divas one. But since then, since the Diva NXT and then the first season, I haven't watched any other season. So this season looks great because they have my boys from ROH, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Cassius Ohno, and other potential talents like Damian Sandow, Bo Dallas, which I think should have kept his name, Rotundo. Who else? Yeah. So Steamboat, so some really good talent for a change in NXT. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next with NXT. Next set of questions come from 2011 Go Knowles. And you asked me who really needs a new gimmick change. Right now, I don't think anyone really particularly needs a gimmick change. I would say Ryback needs to be tweaked a little bit. I like Ryback. I think he's okay as is, look-wise. I just think they need to tweak his character a little bit. Have him talk on the mic a little bit more. Because when he was Skip Sheffield, a part of Nexus, I thought he was a pretty decent talker, probably the best talker in Nexus after Barrett. So I would just kind of have him, stop talking in crazy sentences and, have him talk a little bit, but still keep the same gimmick. So I tweak Ryback. It's probably the only gimmick I can think of right now that I'd tweak a little bit. Do you think Alberto Del Rio's situation is almost the same situation as Mr. Kennedy when he was in WWE? Yeah, I could see why. Del Rio is a little bit injury prone. However, I do think Del Rio is better off than Anderson because unlike Anderson, Del Rio has had an incredible year last year, winning the largest Royal Rumble, had a spot at WrestleMania for the world title, Money in the Bank winner, two-time WWE champion, although it's not forgettable, but it's still in the record books. So he's had a hell of a year, a better year than most wrestlers have. But yeah, I think Del Rio's situation is pretty similar to Anderson's. Who is the most underrated wrestler today? Most underrated wrestler today. You know, in my opinion, I still say Daniel Bryan, and the reason why is because he is over with the crowd largely, but I think WWE just don't trust enough in his abilities to say carry a pay-per-view or be in the main event of a pay-per-view. You know, he and Punk had a phenomenal match over the limit, which was like the co-main event or whatever. Then what everyone was hoping to be a rematch at No Way Out, they throw in Kane to make the triple threat, which is still a good match. But now we're finally going to get a second one-on-one Punk Daniel match at Money in the Bank, which was announced tonight on Raw. So I think Daniel Bryan is still somewhat a little bit underrated because I don't think WWE really trusts his in-ring work. I mean, I think they know that Daniel Bryan's going to have a good match regardless, but I just don't think they have too much trust in his abilities to, you know, sell a crowd or whatever. Which is why I think they just slap him with, you know, big people like Kane. And since he lost his world title, actually, in WrestleMania, he's just been losing a lot. So he's the first person that comes to my mind. The next question is, do I think Owen, Hart, and Mr. Perfect deserve a world championship? Do I think Owen and Mr. Perfect deserve a world championship? I definitely think Kurt Hennig, a.k.a. Mr. Perfect, deserved a world championship. Owen Hart, I'm not too sure. Owen Hart was a good, you know, mid-carder. He had good mic skills. He was a great in-ring talent. But I don't know if Owen really had, like, you know, what it took to be a, like, world champion. I mean, we'd never know. It's one of those things I would kind of like to test the waters and see, you know, if Owen was a world champion, how he carried himself. But then again, I think Owen did deserve a title run. I wouldn't say probably as long as some of the other wrestlers, like in Austin or Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels. Maybe have Owen as like a transitional champion, you know, have him carry the belt for like 2.5 to 3 months and then drop to someone else, but not really like a long-term champion I could see Owen as. But, yeah, but still, I could see them, or I wish that they did win the WWE Championship. And then your last question for me is, what are my thoughts on Randy Orton's situation? I think Randy Orton is just, I don't know what to say about Randy Orton. I think he needs to come back as a heel. That's what everyone's been wanting. It's been said behind the scenes that for the last year, Randy has been demanding from the higher-ups or the writers that he wants to be heel and that he's better off as a heel because he's not working as a face, and he's always worked better as a heel. So I definitely agree with that. I think WWE needs to keep Orton because the talent is just, you know, and Randy is already a made and developed star and talent, so I think they definitely could keep Randy, you know, keep Randy until he gets that third strike. But until he gets that third strike and they kick him out the door, ride him out, you know, into the sunset. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Randy. So hopefully when he comes back, he'll get his fire back. I could possibly see he'll get another world title or WWE title run, either or. So this will be part 1 of my wrestling Q&A. Stay tuned for my part 2 wrestling Q&A. Peace out.